So for this question, what are your greatest strengths? I also have a quick survey. When you're asked what are your greatest strengths, you should list at least 6 strengths. So here, could you guys just give me your feedback, your opinion? When you're asked what are your greatest strengths, you should list at least 6 strengths. Basically, no, not really. So you shouldn't just have a list. So let's talk about what you should do. You need to, as I mentioned a few times, you need to choose a few strengths. They need to be focused clearly on how you are a good fit for the job. So just listing a number of strengths, what are your strengths? I'm a people person, I'm a problem solver, I'm ambitious, I'm hardworking, I'm diligent. No, that's not really the best way to do this. So what is the best way? So first of all, what's this question all about? The interviewer wants to know if you are self-aware. I'm just looking at my own comments here. The first thing is, if I ask you, Kazu or Dora or Daphne, could you tell me what are your strengths in an interview? The first thing I'm really looking for, I want to know, do you understand your own strengths? Because, did you think about this? Are you aware of your own strengths? And can you answer the question confidently? Actually, we mentioned a little bit earlier, I think, I'm not sure, was it Dora? I forget. Somebody who mentioned that maybe you didn't know your own skills were unique. So you need to know. When someone asks this question, you need to prepare, you need to have a clear answer, but these are my strengths. If you don't know your own strength, it doesn't create a good impression. She wants, so first the interviewer wants to know, do you understand your own strength? Second, of course, she wants to know, are your strengths in line with the skill set required? So if you say, oh, my strengths are A, B, C, and I think, but I don't need any of those strengths. So this person really doesn't understand the job. They haven't researched it. So none of your strengths are relevant to this job. So basically, you're not going to get the job. If you highlight strengths that are not related to this job, I'm not going to hire you. And third, she also wants to understand what sets you apart. Yeah, so there's 3 things. Do you understand your strength? Are these strengths related to the job? And do these strengths set you apart from the other candidates? Okay, so how to answer the question? When you answer this question, you must find a balance between humility and arrogance. So Taiwanese people are actually quite humble. That means you don't like to say too many, I'm really good at this or I'm excellent. I think it's a good characteristic in many ways to be humble, but in an interview, don't be too humble. You have to be able to confidently say, look, these are my strengths. This is not a time to be 不好意思 or, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really have strength or I don't want to speak. You need to be very confident. But of course, don't be arrogant. You don't want to say, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm great. No problem. I'm great at this. I can handle this. No problem. This is easy. I've done this, because basically it will give me a negative impression. If you're arrogant, nobody really wants to work with an arrogant person, and perhaps you won't be a good team player. That's why many people don't answer this question well, because they don't get the balance. They're either too humble or they're arrogant. You need to find a balance. If you're too humble, you'll undersell your achievements, and then you will come across as less confident. If you oversell yourself, yes, I might think, I just don't want to work with this person. I don't care how good your skills or how good your experience, you're just an arrogant person. I don't think you're going to fit in here. I don't think you're a team player, and I don't really want to work with you. And actually, we don't really cover it today, but one of the most important things in persuading an interviewer is they have to like you. We're not doing it today, that's for another day. Uh, Interviewers need to like you first before a lot of other things. So if you're arrogant or if they don't personally like you, then it's more difficult for you to get the job. So those are how you, different ways that you need to, uh, different considerations in answering this question. Okay, how to answer this question? Number one, focus on a few compelling points. I really like that word compelling. Compelling means powerful. A compelling argument means it's really powerful. So you should focus not on 6 or 7 or 8, a list that's meaningless. You should focus on a few compelling points. You should use stories or examples to support your strengths. So if you're going to choose 2 or 3 strengths, you must make sure that you have a story or you have an example to support that. Because if you say one of your strengths is your communication skills, the interviewer is probably going to say, oh, it's called a behavioral question. We'll deal with it later, but they're probably going to say, oh, can you describe a time when you demonstrated excellent communication skills? And if you don't have an answer for this, then you can't use it as a strength, because immediately you will lose credibility. You say, oh, one of my greatest strengths is my ability to communicate. Okay, Brian, can you give me an example of when you demonstrated that? Or can you give me an example of when that contributed in your previous job? Well, I'm a really good communicator because I can communicate well with everyone in my team. And many people say that I have great communication skills, so I can get things done because I'm a good communicator. Meaningless unless you have a concrete example. Actually, yes. In my previous job, I found in one situation we were finding it difficult to collaborate between groups. So what I did was blah blah blah. This was the problem. This is the action I took, and this was the result. Okay. Use stories or examples. Take advantage of the open-ended question. Yeah, this is a good opportunity for you to also sometimes bring in some information or stories to show your strength. And use this question to pitch yourself. Just like before, this question is a great opportunity for you to demonstrate how you fit this company, to show these are my 3 strengths, or this is my biggest strength. I chose this strength because I looked at your website and I know you really value this. This is my strength, and this is an example of how I used this strength in the past. Okay, I'll look at yes, it's called the star. Thank you, Francis. Yeah, I'll come back to that. I'll look at the chat box in a few minutes. Guys, let me just move ahead a little bit. Actually, I have the answers all here to those. Focus on a compelling, focus on a few compelling points. So actually, I've mentioned this a little bit earlier. Yeah, don't give a list of positive characteristics. I'm ambitious, outgoing, detail-oriented, diligent, focused. It's really one of the worst ways to answer this question. Focus on 3 key strengths you want to highlight. Choose the 3 strategically so that they position you as a great fit. As I said, if you looked at the website or the job description and it's clear this company wants people who are innovative, creative, problem solvers. So your strengths have to focus on those things. There's no point in you saying, I'm a great, or I'm a great organizer if you don't need to work with other people. So that's number 1. 3 compelling points. Make sure that they're focused on the values I'm looking for. Next. Just moving things around. Use stories or examples. Okay. Support each strength with a story. I believe my communication skills and my ability to work in teams are 2 of my biggest strengths. In my previous job, an example of communication and teamwork. You must have a story or an example or you lose credibility. Next, take advantage of, it's an open-ended question. Tell me about your strengths. So it allows you to maybe draw attention to something that you haven't mentioned earlier. It's a chance to highlight an achievement or a skill. So this is a good opportunity for you. If you really want to highlight some achievement from your past, and none of the questions earlier have given you the opportunity, this is a great opportunity for you to bring that in, to say, one of my greatest strengths is this, and then to mention an achievement based on that strength. Or you have a great story. This is a chance to maybe before your interview, you've highlighted 3 strengths, you have some stories, maybe you have an achievement you want to highlight. This is a great opportunity to do that. And finally, this is also, yes, excuse me, I'm looking at that. Pitch yourself. This is also a great opportunity, as we mentioned earlier. I'm just trying to move my picture around a little bit here. Just give me one moment. There we go. That's better. Yeah, this is a chance to align one of your strengths to the position. One of my greatest strengths is my ability to think under pressure. In fact, that's one of the reasons I'm really interested in this position, because I like working in a fast-paced environment, and this company moves quickly. So again, a great idea. This is one of my strengths, and that's one of the reasons I want to work here, because you guys need this and I want to do this. So those are different ways that you can use this. I guess the key takeaway here is, choose 1 or 2 or 3 strengths, choose them strategically to make sure that they align with the company, and use this opportunity to highlight some of your achievements. Okay,